In this session, I'll demonstrate how to use Google Drive to collaborate with others. First, we'll start with some concepts related to Google Drive so we can get a better understanding as to how it is designed to work, and then I will get into the more detailed stuff such as creating documents, sharing those documents with others, and then collaborating with others on those documents in Google Drive. So let's get started. Google Drive, it's a cloud-based solution where you can store your documents or create new ones on the Google systems. It's very similar to Dropbox or OneDrive from Microsoft, but Google Drive, it's designed with collaboration in mind. Typically, you'd access it from drive.google.com, and from there you can create new content, for example, documents, sheets, slides, it's like PowerPoint, or you could upload your own files. You can access them through a mobile device by going to your app store and downloading Google Drive. From there, now download docs or sheets or slides. Those are separate apps for you to create content and work on existing files from Google Drive over the web. Additionally, on a desktop computer, you can access those files by installing a client software. As of the time of this recording, Google is using backup and sync. This is what users would use to access the Google Drive documents on their desktop so that they synchronize, very similar to Dropbox. The backup and sync also allows you to specify what directories you want to back up and sync. Now think of file stream just like you stream videos or content from Netflix, where you're not really downloading and having your library of movies on your computer. You're simply picking and choosing what you want to stream to watch. The idea here with file stream is to save you space on your computer, particularly with the newer computers that have the solid-state drives where you don't have enough space. You can actually pick and choose certain files to be streamed, like opening them directly from the web through this application on your desktop, or you can choose to have those files sync so that you have a copy on your local computer, choosing to synchronize them at all times. In Google Drive, you can actually create new content from there. Then they can be synchronized through the desktop client's file stream and Google Sync. In this session, I will demonstrate how to access your Google Drive account and also how to create files from your Google Drive. To use Google Drive, it's best to use Google Chrome. So to access your Google Drive, go to drive.google.com and then log in with an account. On the left-hand side, you have My Drive, and then you have Team Drives, and then you have File Shared with Me, and then Recent and Folders and Trash. My Drive is files and folders that you have created or are your files. They are not by default shared with anyone else within the organization or anyone else out there unless you chose to do so when you created the files. Quick access, this is a preview of recent documents, and then further down here we have the various folders and files that you may have created at some point in the past. If you have no files in here, no need to worry. I will cover how to create new ones in a moment. Then also there is Team Drives. For now, think of it, My Drive is designed for your files, for your content, for your stuff, even though you can share it with others. And then Team Drives are designed to be collaborative workplace where you work with other team members, but you are the owner of the files in that folder. In My Drive, even though you may create a folder, whoever creates a new file within that folder that you shared, they are the owner of that file. So the file basically disappears. Then under Shared with Me, these are files and folders that have been shared with you. You'll get the links typically via email. However, they'll show up in here under Shared with Me. Under Recent, this is the recent files and folders that I've been working on. You may choose to upload photos and keep track of them. And then under Trash, this is where the deleted files will show up. Other components of the interface here are the ability for you to search for specific files or folders. And this is where the power of Google comes in. You can search for just about anything. You just search on the top here and then simply click on the file and it will open that up for you. Now notice that it opened it up in a new tab. Now next, let's learn how to create new files and new content from Google Drive. So if we go here under New, notice that we can create a new folder. We can upload files or upload folders, or we can create a new Google Docs file, Google Sheets, or Google Slides. This is similar to Word, this is similar to Excel, and this is similar to PowerPoint. And notice you can create even additional things as well. Here under Docs, notice that you can create a blank document or you can use an existing template. If we click on Create a New Document, you can specify the title on the left-hand side and then simply start typing. This is very similar to Microsoft Word with a variety of icons and sections here. You have the different menus on the top as well. It may not look as rich in features as Microsoft Word. However, it is designed for you to collaborate with others. To use this platform for creating a new proposal or a new document with somebody else or having somebody else review the work. So basically at this point you simply start typing. All the changes are saved by default on Google Drive. You can click right here and every change is tracked automatically. If you don't know how to work with something in this document, you can always click here under Help. For example, how to change the margins, let's say. Notice it comes with Page Setup, and then all you have to do is just click on Page Setup, and it brings the margins for it. If I wanted, let's say, to insert hyperlinks, how to insert a link, just click on it, and then just paste the link in there. The advantage of Google Drive is you can collaborate with others using this document in real time, or they can work on it and asynchronously, not at the same time as you, and be able to modify this document. By default, the documents are not shared with anyone else. You are the only one that has access to it. So to share this document, once I start typing here and creating it, we'll click here on Share. Now, there are a couple ways to do the sharing, and this is very important. It's important to set the permissions right. So my suggestion would be that before I even get started with this, I'd explain that if you're just creating a quick blank document and you are collaborating with someone else for, let's say, the agenda for a meeting or something this short, a page or 2 pages, or a quick proposal, then you can give full access to another individual or 2 other individuals if you're a very small team. However, if it's a long document and it's a complex document, then I would recommend that you keep control to the document and you just give the others the capability to simply comment on it. And they'll make changes in the document, and then when the document comes back or when you go to review it, then you'd approve those changes or disapprove them or make modifications and such. There are 3 types of permissions that you can do here. Basically, you're sharing with an individual and you'll put in the email address in here. You can add more email addresses in here if I wanted as well. Then notice that by default they're going to be able to edit. So this pencil icon shows that they'll be able to edit this document. The other option here is that they can view this document or can comment on the doc. Let's assume that with distance learning staff I want to give them full editing access. They can delete stuff and they can modify stuff. Even though you gave somebody full editing access, you can track those changes by going here under All Changes and be able to see who changed what. However, if it's a really long document, it's going to be very cumbersome for you to identify as to what changed and what to approve and what to go back to the previous settings. So again, I recommend that you use here the Can Comment for most long documents. So in our case, I'll say I want to allow them to edit the file directly, and then type here a quick message. And then once I click on Send, the recipient will receive an email and a direct link to this. The other thing you can do is click here under Advanced, And here you can see additional permissions. Right now it's still private access, and then the distance learning staff that can access this and change stuff. If you scroll down here under advanced, there are additional controls here, and I'll try to explain those in a little bit. But one key important component here is that you can prevent the editor, take away the capability of them to change access or add additional people. In most cases, you want to control who has access to your document. So then click on Save Changes, and then press Send. And then click on Done, and now I'll go ahead and log in here as Distance Learning Staff with a different browser. So we are assuming now the Distance Learning Staff is logging in. I'll go to Drive here, I'll log in, and now under Shared with Me, this is where that document will show up. Or you could click on the link from the email and it will take you directly to the document. So we are assuming here we are the Distance Learning Staff. So here's the document. I'm logged in as Distance Learning Staff, and I have full access to this document. So I can also put them side by side. So on the right hand side I have Distance Learning Staff, on the left it's my account. So this is one of the methods to collaborate with others, where you create the document, you're the one that shares the document with specific individuals, and then you're all working at the same time on the same document. Like I mentioned earlier, you can go here under all changes saved on this document, and you'll see that distance learning changed this right here. Notice the colors here on the right hand side matches with the color of the text. In this session I'm going to demonstrate how to share a document with others so that they can only comment on it and you can track changes, and yet you maintaining the control over the changes of the document. I suggest this for most of your documents, particularly in documents that you have already created and you want others to get their feedback. Let's assume I created this document and now I want to send to other individuals to collaborate with them. Now we click here on Share, and then you can put in there the name of the individual that you want to share with. Then by default, whenever you choose a specific individual to share the file with, they'll be able to edit the document directly. In this case, we don't want them to edit directly, we just want them to comment on it. So click on Can Comment, and then put a note in there, and then press Send. If you wanted to add additional individuals, you can simply click here on Add More People. Now at this point this has been shared with the other individuals, and I'm going to go ahead here and sign in the distance learning staff, and under Shared with Me they'll be able to see the document that was shared, or they can open it from the link that they received via email. So they'll click on Open, and notice here we are working here in real time. I have on the left hand side my own, I'm logged in as a creator of this document. On the right it's the distance learning account. So now distance learning staff is editing this, and they press delete here, and notice the system is tracking the changes. So they are making additional changes. The changes are being reflected in real time. They can make all the comments in the document itself, and then when it's time for you to go back and review this, notice you'll see these comments that were added by the collaborators along with their name. If you like what they changed, you simply click on Accept here, and then move to the next one, and then click on Accept as well, Accept again, and so on, or deny it and it reject the change. And then the changes will be applied. So the key here is under Share to give that specific individual the commenting option. In this session I'm going to demonstrate collaborating in real time using Google Chat. We are here in Google Drive, and we go to the document that we are working with. It can be any of those that we have already shared or we want to share from scratch. So here's the document. If I go here under Share, this is shared with the distance learning staff, and distance learning staff in this case has the can make comments or suggestions option. Now there are cases where you want to collaborate with two or more individuals via chat options. We click here under Show Chat, and then just start typing. and then hit enter. Now I'm going to switch to the distance learning staff, and notice this is what it will show up on their side of things. It says new message, and they can click on show chat. Nothing is actually taking place within the document at this point. It's just a chat going back and forth, and notice this is what they see on the other end. And they could either add it themselves, or you could add it. If they added it themselves, then you have to approve this change here. When you want to close the chat option, you just click on the X there, click on accept the suggestion, and now it's over there. In this session, I'm going to demonstrate how to create a new folder in Google Drive and share that folder and files within that folder with other individuals. So we are going to go here under drive.google.com, and then we'll click here on new, and then we'll choose, let's say, a new folder. Click on create, and notice the folder at this point has been created. Now we can either right click on it and choose to share it from here, or we can use the share option over here as well to share that specific folder. Now, one important concept if you're using My Drive is that even though you share a folder with somebody else, any files put in that shared folder, of course, they'll access them using the permissions that you granted them. However, if they create a file in your shared folder, that means that they are the owner of the file. So it could be that somebody creates a really important document, then they leave the institution, and then 3 years down the road, they delete that file, and they could have created that file with their personal account. Then that file is gone, and they can delete it at any point. So now to share this folder, you right-click on it and choose Share. You can share it with specific individuals, like we learned in the previous sessions, or you can go here under Advanced, and by default, notice that only you have access to the folder, and then you can put there the different individuals that you want to have access to this folder. And notice at this point you're giving them full access by default, or you can just give them access to view the contents of that folder only. You can add a message and then click on OK. If you wanted anybody to have access who has a direct link to it, then you can click here under Change, and the way we did this was we right-click on the folder, we go under Share, we go under Advanced, and then we click on Change. Now notice you have a whole bunch of options here that you can change. You can make this specific to only particular individuals that you're sharing with, or you can make it anyone with a link. If it's a file or a folder where the contents are not of high sensitivity, then, and to minimize any of the issues, then you might want to use this option, anyone with a link. Note that people could forward it, so be cautious. So you want to choose anyone with a link. Notice that by default it's can view only, so you do not want to give them organize or edit access, just anybody who has the link to it. Now we click OK here, and this is the link that you want to copy and paste in your email to other individuals. Now remember, you're sharing a whole folder. Once they get the link to that folder, they'll see whatever you have placed within that folder. So you'll copy that. I'm right-clicking, choosing copy, click OK, and then you'd paste that into your email. You can also get the link to that file or that folder by clicking on this option right here, Get Shareable Link. Copy this URL here, similar way to what we did before, and then paste it and such. Now if we go in this folder, if I create a new file from here, notice it's going to give anybody that I share this folder with, it's going to give them the same permissions. So if I click on Create and Share, anybody that has the link will be able to have access to it. Notice if I go here under Share, it says anyone with a link, and that's how you can verify access to a file or a folder. And from here, if you click on Advanced again, notice anyone who has a link can view it. You, however, can change it, turn off access within a document from that specific folder. And you're changing the access based on the file level. And here I could change it so that they can comment or can edit or can and such, but whenever you're using the anyone with a link, be cautious. Primarily give them only the can view access. And then press save there. In this session I'm going to demonstrate how to organize files in Google Drive. Now typically when somebody shares files with you, the files that have been shared are going to be showing up under Shared With Me folder. And notice there's no structure, so you could go here under My Drive and I could create my own structure of files and categorize them and sort them any way I want. Let's go here under My Drive and I'm going to create a new folder here first. So new folder and then click on Create. Now if I go under Shared With Me and expand my drive here, so these are files that have been shared with me. So I'm clicking on Shared With Me, I can see my folder that I just created. And now let's say I wanted to take this file that is shared from the Office of Distance Learning or whoever here and just drag it here onto the folder that I want to store it in. Again, it's not going to mess up their structure, it's creating a structure for my own purposes. Also remember that if they delete the file, then it's going to be removed from any of my structured stuff that I have made because they were the owner of that file. So if I go here again, I can take that file, move it to wherever I want, and I'm just simply drag and drop. Even if you don't take the time to structure them, remember the powerful flexibility that Google offers using their search. In this session I'm going to demonstrate how to upload files or folders to Google Drive. There are a couple ways to upload the files or folders that you currently have in your computer to Google Drive. First go to drive.google.com and then we go under My Drive here, and let's say under Forms for the faculty I want to upload additional files or folders in there. Remember that anything that I upload within that existing folder, it's going to carry the permissions that you had assigned to that folder. So we want to add here a file that we have already in our computer. We click here under File Upload and then go and find the file that we want to upload. Click here on the worksheet and notice at this point it's uploaded. To upload the whole folder we click here on New and then Folder Upload, and then we go and pick the folder wherever we have it. So notice I can pick the test folder here, or the other way to do it, I have Google Drive in the background and then I have my file manager from Windows here and then simply drag it and drop it on the folder that I want to drop it to. In this session I'm going to demonstrate briefly the difference between My Drive and Team Drives. Typically with My Drive, anybody that creates the file is the owner of the file. So even if you created a folder within My Drive and you share it with a bunch of individuals, if they create a new file within that shared folder, then they are the owner of that file. The problem comes into play that if they leave the institution, they can delete the file and you have no control over the file that they created. So the other alternative is to use Team Drives, and this is a new tool that Google has developed to take care of the problem where the owner maintains ownership of the file. So the idea here with Team Drives is that you create a space for other individuals to collaborate and create content and work together. The idea is also that individuals would have full access to it, or you can control the access for that team drive as you need. So any files that are created within the team drive, you are the owner of it because you own the team drive. So to create a team drive, all you have to do is you click here on Team Drives and then click on New. Then give it a name. Then click on Create. Then the next step is to add the members to the team drive. You add additional members to this team drive. So you click on Add Members and then you locate their email addresses. So you go here under DL Staff and then you pick however many individuals. If you want to grant different access to different individuals, you have to add them separately. So if I added more than one individual here and I granted them a specific access, that would apply to both of them. So in my case, I want to give them that they can edit the files and upload new ones. You probably don't want to give somebody full access as ownership to the team drive. So you don't want them to manage the members and also upload and edit and such files. And then you can type a message and press send the notification. And then click on add. If I go and create a new document, and if I close this document at this point and then return to my owner account here, if I go under share and choose to see who has access, it's those two members that have access to it. They can both edit it. Now if I created a new folder, and I could create subfolders and such to reorganize the content here, now those two members will have access to this folder by default. If I go to share this folder, notice I do not get the permission to do so because this is a team drive. I can't share a subfolder within a folder within a team drive. Typically in Google Drive, the changes are saved automatically in a document. So if we are referencing here changes, restoring changes to a previous version of the document, we can simply double click on the document and then click right here under the last edit, and then you would be able to see the various versions of it, and you can restore it to that version if you wanted to. That's one option. However, in some other cases you may find that your file is missing completely and the file might have been deleted. In that case, if you're the owner of the file, you'd be going here under the trash folder, and this includes all the files that have been deleted from your Google Drive folder. To restore this file, all we have to do is right click and then choose restore, or you can choose delete if you want to delete it forever. Typically the deleted files will stay in the trash folder for up to 30 days after they have been deleted. So if I click here on restore, it's going to restore it in the folder that it was initially placed. In this session, I'm going to demonstrate how to update a file in Google Drive without updating the link for that specific file. Let's assume that I have this document, and at some point I had shared this document. Instead of me going and deleting this file and then uploading another one, Google creates a new file ID. Even though it may have the same name, it's going to create a different file, or the link is not going to be the same. So in order to avoid the issue with the links and having to update and send new links and go and update the references wherever they are, what I could do is upload a new version of this file. So let's assume right now my document looks like this, and now for whatever reason I made changes to it and I want to update it and put a new version of it, or change it completely for that matter. I right click on it, choose manage versions, upload a new version, and then click on close. Now if I double click on it, notice that's a new content. So the user on their end, they'll get access to the new version of the file without me having to send the new links to it. Now, there might be cases where the file got corrupted or you want to go to a different version of it. You can always go here under Manage Versions and then choose to download the previous version of it. To download FileStream, you first need to go to drive.google.com. Then under Settings here, click on Download FileStream for Windows. Then scroll down and you can pick the version for Mac or Windows. Now FileStream is not available for personal accounts. It's only for corporate or education account. Then here we click on Download for Windows, and then once it's downloaded, double click on it. So once FileStream is installed, then it will prompt you to log in. And then go through those prompts. And then open Explorer here. And notice on the left-hand side here under this PC, you're going to see a new drive letter. It's mounting it as Google FileStream G Drive. Notice it's going to give you access to the files that we had over the web. So we are not really going in at this point and going to drive.google.com over the web. We are just accessing our files from the local computer. This is just a pointer to the web. If we wanted to open any of those files, we could just open them from here by double-clicking on them. Then if we wanted those folders to be available offline, then we need to right-click here and choose under Google File Stream, choose Available Offline. It's going to synchronize the files even if I don't have internet connection. When I get connection back, then it will resynchronize with Google and you'll have the latest version of files across your devices. Now, if you wanted to add additional files to your Google Drive from here, from File Stream, once you have it downloaded, all you have to do is just drag and drop your files.